Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dan Crosby and I am the new owner of BioSteel. And in this video, I'm going to discuss a week's worth of ownership, the challenges that I'm facing, our successes, and everything in between. I'm also going to go through the financial performance of the two websites since their launch. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, first, I'm going to discuss the unexpected positives of BioSteel that I didn't really know or understand going in. The first thing we're going to talk about is the pedigree of this brand, because the sheer volume of high-profile professional athletes, teams, and athletes in general who use and endorse this brand has absolutely exceeded my expectations. While I always knew BioSteel was a favorite among professional athletes, seeing the influx of emails and orders absolutely reaffirms its position as the unofficial choice for professional athletes. Next is e-commerce. The potential for e-commerce growth with BioSteel is outstanding. After gaining access to both the Canadian and the American websites, I can tell you right now that there is significant opportunity to expand this brand online. To give you an idea, the combined website receives about double the impressions of CanadianProtein.com, but the conversion rate is only about a quarter of that. So this indicates a tremendous potential for growth in the e-commerce space. Next, logistics. Now, I am not a logistics expert by any means, but I am excited about the existing complex system. We have the opportunity to simplify and streamline this situation, improving its efficiency and capitalizing on the current inefficiencies. And next is staffing. While this project is absolutely massive, we're currently managing it with only our in-house staff. However, this approach is completely unsustainable in the long run because it could negatively impact Canadian Protein. Not could, most likely will actually. Therefore, we're utilizing our existing staff to thoroughly assess the business operations before entertaining any kind of decisions about external hires. Now I'm going to address the challenges that I'm going through right now. The first one I'm going to be discussing is by far the biggest right now is the retailers. The whole retail game and BioSteel is proving to be a little bit challenging for me due to the lack of experience that I have in this area. Unlike e-commerce and the simplicity that I'm used to, this industry involves rebates, chargebacks, cost for shelf space, placement, advertising, floor space, and a ton more. So we're more than likely going to be creating a dedicated position to handle this efficiently and provide the necessary technology to streamline this process. Going a little bit deeper into this type of position, the person that we're going to be bringing on, or the maybe very small efficient team, has tremendous earning potential because we are going to create technology in order to efficiently scale this program over time without spreading the sales team thin and spreading that income across dozens of people. Next, we're going to be talking about stocking issues. Managing product inventory has definitely become an issue because of our stock being spread across multiple warehouses across the US and Canada, and this is leading into delays in keeping certain products in stock on the websites. And we actually have the products, but consolidating them and fulfilling e-commerce orders is taking a little bit more time than I had thought. Now, getting into an issue that we ran into on the Canadian order fulfillment side, we encountered a delay in shipping orders due to a disruption in the connection between NetSuite and our Shopify store. Now, we're currently managing this using manual exports and imports of CSV files. But in the beginning, there was actually an issue with the initial export where it was only calculating the first line of each order, and only the first line items in everyone's order ended up being shipped. So we're having to go back and export the rest of those orders for everyone. So don't worry, everybody, you're going to get your orders. I apologize. Everything's good now. Now, the next topic is the RTDs and the Tetra Paks. These things right here. And the reason is because the equipment for the manufacturing of the RTDs was not included in the assets that I purchased. And while I didn't initially intend to acquire this equipment, I explored the possibility of working with the new buyer. Unfortunately, their facility won't be operational for months because he wants to rework and reconfigure the facility. So we found another facility that's going to be working with us that actually has a lot of experience manufacturing this product So it was an absolute big relief. Next is the disgruntled retailers. Now, some distributors and retailers have been left kind of high and dry, which is not really my responsibility to resolve. However, I'm facing some friction due to this kind of situation, obviously the bankruptcy, even though the brand is in still high demand. Now, I still want to work with these retailers, but cleaning up this mess that's been left behind is potentially challenging. So I wouldn't mind your opinions on how to restore these relationships with retailers. Now, the next topic is the whole e-commerce versus retail. And there's a misconception that I plan to turn BioSteel into predominantly an e-commerce brand like Canadian Protein, but that couldn't be further from the truth. In reality, I actually value the retail roots of BioSteel, and I intend to protect the interests of distributors and retailers. And to be honest with you, I actually like the fact that BioSteel is a predominantly retail-focused and centric brand versus Canadian being e-commerce centric and focused. And the reason being is because I might be able to leverage both avenues for both brands. And next is the NHL deal. So obviously I'm exploring the possibility of an NHL deal. We all know that. But it's becoming challenging to structure such a major deal without knowing the brand's exact financial performance so early on. And with that being said, I have big plans to support grassroots minor sports, which I feel with this plan would complement an NHL partnership dramatically. Next is phone calls and meetings. I have been inundated with meetings and phone calls like I have never been before, which I'm starting to find a little bit taxing. While a lot of these calls were necessary, and they were necessary for fact-finding purposes, coming into the next couple weeks, I'm going to have to focus my time and energy on phone calls and meetings that are on the exact same trajectory that I have planned for BioSteel. And if essentially that's not on the trajectory or it's not in its immediate future, I'm gonna have to put those calls and meetings on the back burner. Another issue that we're trying to work through right now is the fact that we don't actually have complete ownership of the social media accounts. Apparently we're having some issues trying to figure out where the login information is. Although those are owed to me, I'm sure we're going to be able to get it. But unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have to go to, support of these social media channels and request legally the ownership of them, which, as anybody that knows, trying to contact social media profiles for anything, number one, takes forever. And number two, who knows if they're actually going to be able to do anything about it. Now, that last point was a perfect segue into what's going to lead me into my plans for week 2. I now have enough information to formulate a very clear plan for BioSteel's goals moving forward. And I'm going to prioritize those tasks that align with that focus. And part of that focus is going to be my pretty much top priority, which is logistics. And for instance, we have a $2.3 million purchase order from Amazon Canada, but our stock is dispersed across multiple locations, and I need to ensure that we have access to those products so that we can sell it, because you can't sell what you don't have and you can't fulfill. So one of my main focuses going into this week is consolidating logistics. Next is manufacturing. We have a significant amount of stock, but we need to replenish some of our best sellers that are selling through because of the demand. So I'm working through costing and reestablishing those relationships so we can essentially hit the ground running with the existing manufacturers, which is going to be the quickest to market. Lastly, let's discuss the e-commerce performance during the first week. Now, here is the financial analytical data of the Canadian Shopify store for the first 7 days, where we turned it on December 4th. And this was running essentially till December 11th. Now, as you can see, I compared it to previous years. Now, again, what I did was I compared it to the Monday of last year in the same week, which is very, very important when you're doing these type of things, because this type of information is extremely day of the week dependent from an analytical perspective, because Mondays differ very much from, say, sales on a Friday, things like that. So as you can see, 180% increase. Now, again, this might be a couple things: pent-up demand, the fact that we launched a late Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, because the site was down during the transition period for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that, but what we've seen in the past is that a lot of people, if they can't buy the products that they actually like, number one, you can still on the retail level, but they'll just go somewhere else. So although this might be a little bit inflated, the performance was great. A couple other key indicators here though is the conversion rate. Now, this is a very interesting metric here, the online store conversion rate, which is 251% increase over the same exact period year over year. So this is a very big increase in online conversions. All the numbers look to be, significantly increased. Now, online store sessions, this is something that we got to work on here. We saw a decrease actually. Now, this could also be because the store went dark for 3 weeks, and that's obviously an issue. But all in all, we have a very strong financial position to, I guess, gauge the first week of sales here on BioSteel Canada. Another very interesting point of data or point of reference is the recurring customer rate is 85.7%, and that's an increase of 45%. So this number right here, the 85.7% returning customer rate is very key. So we want to keep this very high. Okay, guys, this is BioSteel US, and although you'd think, well, the US has 10 times the amount of population, the BioSteel brand is actually stronger in Canada. Obviously BioSteel being a hockey-centric brand, hockey being bigger in Canada, so we see more sales in Canada. So nonetheless, we are seeing a 285% increase. Now, of course, again, the late Black Friday sale is obviously skewing these numbers a little bit. As you can see, spikes here in the beginning on December 6th and 7th. But as you can see coming down here, we're still in a better position than previously. Again, total order sales during the same period, we're looking at 154% increase, online store conversion rate, a 329% increase. So this is one thing that we are going to really focus on moving forward for BioSteel, is getting this conversion rate up to around this level here, and maintaining that high conversion rate. That's going to be key here. Again, order volume, average order volume, average order value. Again, we also increased the free shipping threshold in the US, and we bumped the order value up 54%. Now it's sitting at, over this period, $91 versus half of that. Same thing, recurring customer rate. BioSteel has a very loyal customer base, at 75%, which is huge. That's a 44% increase year over year, which is dramatic. Something else that's noteworthy here is the average order value has increased by 76%. And that's because, well, more than likely because we increased the free shipping minimum order value to $100, which previously, I believe it was $50. Reason why we did that was because we want to be able to sell RTDs online, and without increasing the order value, we would be losing money on, the free shipping threshold. And if we did not do that, we'd be losing money on the RTDs if they were shipping. So that is key as well. And overall, shipping's not getting any cheaper, and these products have to ship to your door. So it's very important to be able to cover the cost of shipping with a higher cart value. So with all that being said, I would greatly appreciate your feedback on these points. And if you have any suggestions, please do share them in the comments below, because your opinions, they matter to me. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more updates on this transition. See you in the next video.